With everyone present, call the meeting to order. Invocation. Invite you to join me in prayer. O sovereign Lord, who has brought all things into being and intends that all things might come together, we pray that you would be with the city commission as they go about their work this evening, that they might bring things together in our community, bring people together, projects together, all those things that make life good, all those things that enrich the lives of the people of this community. So guide them in their work. We give you thanks for the community in which we live, for the ways in which we are blessed. We give you thanks for those things that enrich the lives of the citizens and allow for people to make a living and to prosper in this place. So continue to bless us, we ask. All this we ask in the name of the one who is Lord of Lords and King of Kings. Amen.
Amen.
Pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Mrs. Lang, do we have any changes to the agenda? Okay, we'll proceed. Approval of the minutes of July 5th, 2018 meeting.
I make a motion to approve the minutes of the July 5th, 2018 meeting.
I have a motion by Mark. Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a second by Christie. Any further discussions? If not, all in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed, same sign. Motion moves on.
Can you mark that I abstain?
Pardon me?
I abstain. I feel like I'm in a position to either approve or not approve.
Oh,
the
okay.
minutes.
Okay. We have an
Is that the
abstention.
appropriate action?
Oh, no, you don't have to abstain if you want.
You could have read it. You haven't been gone that long. Okay, either way. The motion still carries. We got a majority.
Fair enough.
Financial matters. Approval appropriation ordinance number 13.
I'll make a motion to approve appropriation ordinance number 13.
I have a motion by Mark. Do I have a second?
Second.
A second by Keaton. Any further discussion? If not, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Moves on. Public comments.
Good evening, Mayor Sacco and Commissioners. My name is Dr. Adrienne Douglas. I am the president of Cloud County Community College. I think I may have had an opportunity to meet several of you individually, but I wanted to officially come by and say hello and introduce myself and let you know that I am delighted to be here, to be a part of this Concordia community, and to let you know that if there's anything that we can do for you as a community college, that we are here for you for that purpose. I am doing what I'm calling an introduction tour, where I am going throughout the city here in Concordia, as well as our 12 service county area, to be able to meet people, to introduce myself, to talk to business and industry, potential partners, to see how we can help them as well in meeting business and industry needs, workforce needs, continuing education, whatever the case may be. But we are here. We are your community college. It's in our name, and so we want to be responsive to whatever needs it is that you may have. So I just wanted to come and officially say that to you and to let you know that I am here. Should you need me, please feel free to reach out. I will be sure to leave some of my cards with Amy for you so that you can reach me should you need to. Thank you.
Thank you.
Welcome to
Thank you so
Concordia.
much. Glad to be here.
I'd like to say that Concordia is lucky to have you and your wonderful family and the enthusiasm you bring back into the community as well as the college.
Thank you so
thank you.
much. I'm really excited to be here. I'm excited to be able to work with a group of people, I think, not only at the college, but in this community. I feel like we have really, really great collaborators in the city commission, the city manager, as well as with the economic development group. I've met with the hospital administrator. I think we are a group of people who are collaborative in nature and who are willing to come to the table to sit together to see how we think what we can do in partners, sharing our resources and how we can move this community forward. And so I'm really excited about that. So I'm delighted to be here. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, for those of you who don't know my name, I'm Arlene Clayton. I am from an era gone by many, many, many years ago. And I have a question, a quandary. I have tried to find out who is responsible for registering auctioneers. I started at the state level. No one at the state level knows what I'm talking about because it's not necessary. After all, they have graduated from an auctioneer school, which qualifies them to be auctioneers. Well, then I went to the county level, to the district attorney's office. No one in the courthouse, including the district attorney, which is absolutely amazing, knows anything about auctioneers and registering them within the county or within the city. From the county, I was advised that the city registers them. And you know, I am really 100% sure that no one in the city government knows anything about registering auctioneers. I think that this is a very necessary part of today's technical environment, that these persons be registered. It's the bygone era of the cowboy hat, the big cowboy buckle, and the pointed cowboy shoes, boots is gone. It's time that they stepped forward with their qualifications and became registered businessmen and women. Thank you.
Does our city attorney know anything about that? Okay.
Actually, yeah. And can't, is this a proper, is it proper for me to, okay. I'll just, real quick, okay.
Just quick.
In Kansas, there is no licensing requirement for auctioneers. They, honestly, you don't even have to go to auctioneer school. They suspect that you, I mean, they expect you to a lot of the times, but there's no registration. There's no database that's kept or anything like that. Cities, if they so choose, can ask for them to be licensed, you know, basically come in and state that they're an auctioneer, whatever it may be. I personally don't know what the basis for that would be, why we would want a list of auctioneers, but that's something that a municipality can regulate. But state level, they wouldn't know anything because there's no law requiring that. So,
Yeah, I found that out.
yeah.
Thank you, Justin.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Real quick, Jessica is out. I don't know if you all know. Well, Jessica runs the Broadway Plaza. You contract with her. She is on maternity leave. She will be back on the 31st. But we wanted to start giving a mid-year review. And so I have that real quick for you, just an infographic that that you guys can take with you.
Ooh, they're pretty.
Just a real quick update on where we are with events. So you'll see that first number, 73. That's events that we have had year to date, so at this very moment in time. Scheduled events, that is not correct anymore. I printed this on Monday, and it's now Wednesday. We have 68 scheduled events from here through the rest of the year. We expect that to increase. We have people walk in daily to set up new things, and so we expect that to increase. Our total attendance as of the 73 events, and those are scheduled events, not total attendance that walk in there and use it every day, but just these scheduled events are 3,090 this year. We have scratched that. It's not 3 more events than 2017. Now it's 5 more events than 2017. Our goal that we let you know last year was to increase our attendance at the movie and concert series because we can really control that. Those are our events. This year, I'm pleased to report, if we were looking at the first 5 events in 2017 compared to the first 5 events in 2018, we've increased that attendance by 297. So if you've been going to those events, I know, Chrissy, we see you there, it's getting a little crowded. So that's a good problem.
Gotta get there early.
Yes, people are setting their chairs out at noon. This is a good problem, of course, to have. If you scroll up a little bit more, we're always looking for additional revenue streams through grant funding. So this year, Jessica's done a really great job of that. Duclos gave the Broadway Plaza $350 for the purchase of a star to go on the top of the Christmas tree. That was, someone in here mentioned doing that.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Someone did.
So she applied for that grant. She was awarded that grant. So when she gets back, she'll purchase that, and we'll have it for this year, which will be great. Tourism awarded us $1,500 for new tables and chairs. After trying out the first set of chairs, they found that the tables and chairs are things that people wanted. They liked sitting at a table instead, and so we were awarded $1,500 from them. Also, $600 from Walmart, and Community Foundation for Cloud County awarded us $1,900 for the purchase of all of those new tables and chairs. The Community Foundation for Cloud County also is a great partner, of course, with us. They help sponsor the movie and the concert series. So a lot of that programming dollars come from grant funding. A majority of the programming dollars comes from grant funding. So our total grant funding for 2018 is $10,045. There's an additional revenue stream. It's a little bit confusing. So we set up a fund at the Community Foundation, which is called an operation fund. What that means is once we become a permanent fund, then we start getting the draw off of that endowed money every year. And you have to get to $10,000. You have 5 years to get there. I'm very happy to announce through the hard work of Jessica soliciting donations from community members, we're at $10,754.14. That's 2 years early. We're an endowed fund, and we will use those funds, of course, with your direction, in order to do improvements, to make improvements, to fix things. We hope to continue to grow that so we can be taking care of that space. And then there at the bottom, we are at this point in time, our revenue received compared to the budgeted amount for the entire year, we are at 164% of revenue that we had budgeted for the year. And we're at 86%. We've reached 86% of the revenue from 2017. So for the whole year of 2017, we're at 86% of those funds raised at mid-year 2018. We hope to see that continue on an upward path, and I just wanted you to know where we were at. Thank you.
Very good.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks.
Any other public comments? If not, we'll move on to new business, which is Heavy's revolving loan fund change.
Okay. And sorry, we start this off with a little bit of education because I know some of you haven't been through the revolving loan fund process. But Concordia Revolving Loan Fund started with an original fund. CDBG funds are federal. We received a federal grant, or we didn't. FNA did for their expansion. And so the way that those funds come back to our community is once they're paid back, it goes into what we have, which is called one of the original revolving loan fund pools. Now that program has changed through the years, but they keep ours intact. Belleville has the same type of a pool. So at this point in time, did I put how much we have in there? We have $549,000 in that revolving loan fund. Amber and I went to a conference a couple of years ago. They've changed the rules. It used to be you could give some, you really didn't have a cap on the amount you could receive. So if you had a business coming in with 35 employees, technically, you could do $35,000 per employee that was a low to moderate income job. They've put a cap on it now, which I think really kind of restricts us. We only can loan up to $100,000 out of our loan pool, which is a little bit tough, but we operate under the rules of the government, of course. So right now, you have 2 folks on your revolving loan fund. It was 3 at the end of 2017, but as I think I reported, Geisler's went off. And so now you have 2, and that's Rods and Heavies. So Heavies has a change. They are Tabby Brown and Marty Tatum. We're in that project together, and Tabby has since bought out Marty. And so, of course, Marty wants his name released off of the loan documents. Very smart. So they have asked us to do that. The bank says that they are fine with it. We can keep under the same guidelines as our guarantee, so long as you all will release his name off our loan documents. So that's what this does, and the following letter has been approved by our attorney, as well as the attorney for the bank, we just need a signature from the mayor. But I'm happy to answer any questions that you might have. I know that's a bit of a confusing program.
None?
So I would need a,
Do I have a motion?
I move to approve the Heavies revolving loan fund change and to have the mayor sign the letter to Central National Bank requesting that change.
I have a motion from Christie. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
A second from Keaton. Do I have any further discussion? If not, all in favor say aye.
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 All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Thank you, Ashley.
I'll have you sign that later tonight.
Okay. Next up, City Hall AC unit replacement.
Mayor and Commissioners, we put out a request for proposal for replace a rooftop unit number 6. City Hall has been running at half capacity for a while now. It's not even running because it's malfunctioning pretty good. So as you can see, we got a couple proposals, and as always, city staff recommends the low proposal from Calabrese for 9109. Meets all our specification requirements that I can see, and there are a couple options offered for warranties there. You can see on the proposal 10 days for, 5 years compressor and 5 years heat exchanger is all part of it, and then you can get 5-year all parts for $540, and then 10 years all parts compressor, heat exchangers and coils for $1344, and I wouldn't know how to advise to go that way, if that'd be the way to go. And I'll stand for any questions.
The warranties on those, I'm trying to put them side by side. I looked at them earlier. The warranties, did that flush out okay, or was it worth to go to a, let's see.
No, I don't know. I didn't do the precise math on the warranty deal because I didn't know for sure which way we'd want to go on. For a $9,000 unit, another $1,300, work 10 years, have pretty much everything covered. Compared to $9,800 and a couple of different options there.
Yeah, they didn't offer a long-term.
So yeah,
There's a 10-year limited.
but there's no all parts and labor option on that.
The 5-year was less with hoods, but I'm not.
So the 10-year on the Calabrese bid, does that include labor?
It says parts. Well, I don't know.
No,
I
it
don't
doesn't
think
say.
does
It says all
labor on
parts,
that.
compressor,
Yeah.
and
I would
something
say
else.
It would not.
Heat
Then if it's
exchanger,
not
that's
on
what it
there,
says.
Yeah. I'm sorry.
So
I
just
would-
parts?
Yeah, it's just parts.
parts.
So even the 5-year is just parts.
Right, but the 5 years, the 5-year limited parts.
compressor,
Says all
heat exchanger,
parts.
oil parts.
Coil in all parts
5
for
years
1 year.
compressor, 5 years heat exchanger, 1 year coil and all parts.
Right.
The 5 years just for the heat exchanger and the compressor on that.
Bruno,
Yes, sir.
if I can interject, the city specification did say to put a new disconnect on it, and they're showing to reuse the existing disconnect.
Oh.
The price difference,
Yeah, there is a price difference there.
if I removed the
haven't caught
disconnect,
that.
wouldn't have, we would have been in a different position.
Perhaps. Yeah, and what did your, I never caught that. I caught that on yours that you had the ambient low,
Yeah.
the low ambient that you had extra, but that was part of the initial specification, so we crossed that off your list.
Yes.
I don't know what would be. On the first proposal of yours. 92, 88, 49. And the economizer is not part of it. So it'd be the base price. And then I don't know what I don't know. I don't know what a disconnect costs. I don't know how that would. It would be close, wouldn't it? 91 to 92, $150
But they
for a
didn't,
disconnect.
they didn't include their low ambient. It was 613 extra for their low ambient, wasn't in their base bid.
No, it's in the description.
Right, it's in the description, so it's not part of the base bid. So we got a 92, 88, 49 base bid for everything that meets the specs, and then on calibrations it's 91, whatever.
9101.
And it had reused the existing disconnect, and the specs did say the new disconnect. So
There's a reason I trust my HVAC folks, and it's because I'm not nearly as fluent with this as I should be. What do we have now in regards to Train versus Carrier versus other brands? Does one
One
carrier translate
replacement
well to
is a
another
Bryant,
carrier?
and I'm probably not much more learned than you on a lot of this HVAC stuff, but Carrier has a common table that a lot of them use across the board to know what sizes and curves and things like that I had no clue, but a lot of the brands will conform to that. So it's kind of like IBM, on their computer stuff. A lot of brands conform to their formats, but I don't know how many units. I don't know. I know we got 6 units. I don't know what the brand are of them. I don't know the capacity of them. I just started learning that when this one started acting up.
My hope, my desire, and I think that we had some conversation about this when we were replacing the AC unit or the HVAC unit on the fire department, would be to find whatever kind of efficiency, knowing that it's fairly important for our staff to be, in comfortable air conditioned, right, heating and cooling. I'm guessing the staff want that. And then knowing that, so we're not going to be able to. I mean, we're going to spend $9,500, $1,000, or $10,000 one way or the other. I just wonder where we could find efficiencies, whether that's in being able to. I don't have a clue. We've got to spend it somewhere. I'd like to find a way to be as efficient as possible with those units, where we don't have a half dozen different units that we have to go to a half dozen different stores to find the replacement parts. So if we start finding some kind of continuity with it, it would make sense to me that there'd be some efficiency with that. But I don't know where that is.
I really don't believe that would be an issue getting parts for anything, because if you take the whole town under consideration, there's probably 50 different brands out there in operation that can get parts overnight if necessary from a lot of the area suppliers, unless it's just an old obsolete unit. And that's kind of what's happening to this, is getting old enough where you're putting Band-Aids on an older unit that's
Just get better Band-Aids.
and wearing out.
So what are we looking at? Is the price, the
No.
basic price with a conductor or whatever you're talking about?
91 and 92.
9101 from Calabrese, but that didn't include replacement with the new disconnect, and 9288 from Hoods for a unit that meets the same specs, but they included in their bid a new disconnect. So you're looking at, was it 40 amp disconnect, 50 amp disconnect, 60 amp disconnect.
Which
Basically,
means
real
what?
compare would be a $150 difference, probably.
Well, that's-
two, you know.
So looking at the,
Calabrese, if you accepted them, they would just have to eat that, put it in there, out of requirement, so. That would be mine.
If I could add one more comment, BDP is owned by Carrier, and so the unit that we would supply doesn't require a curb adapter, meaning the unit stays closer to the roof and refits the original footprint.
And the train unit at Calabrese would have to have a curb adapter, because it's just different size, plenum or supply, so. It's a close one.
well, I'm looking at the warranty stuff too. If we're going to go with the 275, you know, as far as what's in the warranty for 275 and what's in the warranty for 540, I guess take that into consideration too. We're talking total cost. Correct.
I think we would need to consider a warranty. I mean, I usually don't.
Keep paging up and paging down. The warranty, okay, I'll just ask, the Calabrese bid, the warranty's $540 for 5 years.
10 years is $1344.
The base price comes with the 5-year compressor, 5-year heat exchanger, and 1-year coil and all parts. You can pay $540 for all parts for 5 years, or you can pay $1,344 for 10 years, all parts, compressor, heat exchanger, and coils.
Does Hoods cover the same thing for $275?
It's a little bit different, I believe. Hoods' proposal is $92.88 base, and it's a 10-year limited warranty that comes with that. But then you can get a 5-year for $275 for parts only, and that's all they're offering there. It's just 5-year extended for $275. So if you had $275, that's parts only. So
What's 10 years limited?
On page 51 of your packet, it's highlighted.
51.
It's not the stuff that's going to go wrong.
heat exchanger, compressor, condenser coil, and parts. That's the limited warranty. The standard limited warranty.
What's the most common thing that goes out on air conditioners?
The thing that's not covered.
Compressor. Well, compressor.
Whatever's not in the warranty you pick.
That's been my experience anyway.
Well, we've replaced I think the unit that runs either the commission room or the community room a few years back. We replaced the heat exchangers on that, and that unit's not as old as this one. The fire department unit just got changed recently, last few months, a year ago, and I don't know. You know, Hood services them twice a year, changes filters, and
2-year exchanger, 5-year compressor.
sometimes they'll leak, but I don't know that that's too uncommon with commercial or too common with commercial units. I don't know that old residential units sometimes will get a leak in them that have to be fixed or sealed and more gas put in them so they'll cool.
Commissioners, if I may, there's a couple questions I think we probably need to have answered. You know, when we're looking at these warranties, it doesn't cover labor. So we need to perhaps inquire as to what labor rates are from each person, because that's going to figure in. also, I'm looking, and maybe this is just being a lawyer and looking at the wording, but in the proposal, the 5-year, it says all parts, but the 10-year says all parts, including compressor, and it actually outlines a few things that are included. Does that mean the 5-year doesn't include those?
They already have a 5 years.
The 10-year extends that out. Okay.
Correct, because it already has a 5-year heat exchanger and 5-year compressor.
Okay, just wanted to make sure, because I saw 3-year.
Yeah.
But that, okay. Okay.
So the extension starts after the 5-year?
Is that how that works?
So it's 15?
Well, year 2, because parts have a 1-year warranty. So if you purchase it, then year 2 through year 5 is the rest of your parts and your coils and the things that aren't on the 5-year warranty, which is the compressor and the heat exchanger.
Okay, if we went to 10 years,
10 years, then everything has a 10-year warranty. All the parts, the compressor, the coils.
does that start after the 5-year? I mean, that's what I love about extension. They stand there and says, yeah, for 10 years you get this. Oh, when does it start? Well, you're losing 5 years on the other side, yeah.
Technically, it's year 5 through 10 on X number of parts, the compressor and coils.
Bruce, what do you guys charge for labor to service something like this?
We are 85 an hour.
85 an hour.
Commissioners,
What do you guys-
I would recommend we table this for now and let us go back and do a little bit more deliberation with both vendors and make sure we're bringing you a recommendation that makes sense for us all.
Appreciate your
Okay, I
recommendation.
appreciate
Yeah,
that.
I'd like a side-by-side with
Yeah.
everything so we can see.
This close, it,
Yeah,
That's awfully
make
close.
sure we make decisions possible.
I like that.
I move that we table the action on the City Hall air conditioning unit
I have
replacement.
a motion by Christie to table it. Do I have a second?
Second.
Keaton, second. Any other discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Moving on to license agreement, 81 Connection Bus Stop.
Mayor and Commissioners, as you know, we have the 81 Connection bus service operated by OCCK, and a couple years ago, they went ahead and installed a bus stop on 7th Street right north of City Hall, which was appreciated. A few weeks ago, they approached us about adding 2 more bus stop locations, both near the college on College Drive, near parking lot 4, between there and the flood control project. One bus stop will be on one side of the street adjacent to the college parking lot, the other would be on the other side of the street. The reason for this license agreement is that the signs would be located in the right-of-way. We set this license agreement up so that it would include not only signs, but also any future concrete improvements, because currently on College Drive, where they proposed to put the bus stops, there is no concrete flat work, so passengers would need to wait in the grass area to remain off the street. It would also include any future seating that may be applicable to a bus stop. The reason for the license agreement is much like what we did when the college installed wayfinding signage up around the college. Those signs will be, and benches and concrete future would be installed in the right-of-way, which is owned by the city. So we need to give the owners of the signs and the benches permission to install in the right-of-way on city property. We also need to put them on notice that if any work needed to be done in that right-of-way, that those signs and benches may need to be removed, either temporarily or on a permanent basis. So that's the reason for this right-of-way agreement. We have had Justin take a look at it. We did have OCCK take a look at it. They were in agreement. The agreement is with OCCK, as they would be responsible for owning and maintaining the signs and any future benches and future concrete. Are there any questions?
I would move to approve the licensing agreement for OCCK for signage for 81 bus stop, or 81 connection bus stops.
I have a motion from Keaton. Do I have a second?
Second.
A second by, what's his name? I apologize. Any further discussion? If not, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. SRO agreement.
Back in 2015, we obtained a grant, and I don't recall whether it was the school district obtained the grant or the city obtained the grant from the U.S. Department of Justice and their Division for Community-Oriented Policing to place a school resource officer in the schools in USD 333. That grant ran for 3 years and ended this past spring. As part of that grant commitment,
we were required to make a commitment with us in the school district to then fund the position for one more year somehow, some way. And the purpose of that was to make sure that the officer still had job and services were still provided. The school district and our police department, as well as our city staff, believe that position is still important. It still provides some valuable resources and valuable learning opportunities, including the DARE program for our students throughout the district. So we're proposing a new agreement which will run for 3 years and is renewable after that in 1-year increments. For the first year, we're proposing to fund this agreement with entirely city funds. That was a result of some negotiations that were done last fall between the then chief of police and the school district. And Amber has confirmed that she has included that dollar figure in the current FY18 budget as well as proposed FY19 budget. And then for the final 2 years of the agreement, it would go back to a funding structure that was similar to what we experienced under the COPS grant, with the school district funding the salary during the school year and the city funding during the summer, as well as benefits. So the school district the Board of Education did approve this agreement at their July 9th meeting, and so tonight we're asking for your approval as well.
What is the amount?
The amount? Asking hard questions. Thought I had the table in here as an appendix. Perhaps I don't. I don't have that information in front of me as far as what the officer's salary and benefits are. I don't know. Do you have that available at all? I was thinking that we had, as Appendix A, I was thinking that we had an appendix in here that showed.
How do we budget for it if we don't know the amount?
We have it.
We have the amount. We didn't put it in this
Right.
write-up here, and I don't have that off the top of my head, is what I'm saying. So and there's an Appendix A that goes with the agreement that for whatever reason did not make it into this.
It's not there.
Into this agreement, and it has the projected salary range for the officer for this coming year as well as for the next 2 years out if they follow with the regular step movement that we normally follow.
I just want to know the amount that we would be out. I'm not caring about the salary, because I know the city's picking up the off time, which I think is fine. I mean, I felt the agreement that we had before was fine.
Right.
Disturbs me that Chief Johnson did the negotiations, and none of that was brought to the commission after the fact. And evidently, he must have said it was okay because the school board voted on it, and we knew nothing about it. I really think that, and I still don't understand why we're picking up the whole thing this year and then we revert back. I don't see the
Listen,
difference on that.
I think that was part of the original grant. I think
was.
we knew at the outset that the
Year
fourth
4.
year, the city was going to be responsible for that.
That's part of the original agreement.
Was that part of the original agreement?
That's part of the requirements.
The requirements for the grant, yes,
That the city would pick it up?
yes.
And then we revert back?
Right.
Okay.
Which I think is prudent. I think it's reasonable. I know that having the school resource officer has been beneficial in my line of work. I know that there's an important presence there, not only for safety but also for positive law enforcement contact and support. I know when we got into the grant, when I was breaking down how many quarters the school was going to pay, how many quarters the city was going to pay overall, it was still a lion's share of the city's responsibility. But I think when we made the agreement originally, it just made sense that we can either have an officer there or run the risk of not having an officer available to be present there if something were to be happening in a different part of town. So
I agree. I think it's important that we have one there. I didn't remember the fact that after the grant was over, then the city would pick it up.
well, it's not necessarily after the grant's over, but the last year of the grant. I think the first 3 years.
It was the first 3 years, it was 50-50.
Yeah.
And then, then that last year. I apologize. I did not retain that was part of the original grant when I was looking at things, so I apologize for that.
So then, after this year, or 2019, and then it would go back to, what, 50-50?
No, it sounds like the school's going to pay for his salary during school season, and then we pay for the salary over the summer months and benefits.
Okay.
And that's the way that the next 2 years of this 3-year agreement are listed, and then we can renew
On a
or
yearly
on
basis.
an
On a yearly
annual
basis,
basis
okay.
after that.
Okay.
So at that point in time, we could renegotiate, or we could keep it the same.
All
I
right.
move to approve the school resource officer agreement with USD 333.
I'll
I
second. Sorry. I'll
I
second.
seconded.
I have a motion from Chuck. I have a second from Christie. Any further discussion? If not, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign.
Thank you.
Public hearings. Unsafe and dangerous, 403 East Fifth Street.
Mayor and Commissioners, due to a little glitch in the process here, one of the owners, Mr. Bogart's here on the East Fifth one, 305 East Fifth, and, or 403 East Fifth. And he just notified me he never received any notification, any certified letter or anything. So we can't have the public hearing. I never got proof of a return letter, but what we can do, since it was advertised to have today, we can reschedule it today, so then I don't have to go back through the whole process from the beginning. So I would like to reschedule both public hearings for the next, not the next meeting, but the week after, and then that gives me time to certify and notify. And then I just inform Mr. Bogart, and then we'll try to see what happened. I don't know if the mail failed us, but we never even got back unsigned. And usually if you get that, then there's a procedure for posting it on the structure itself. So we can't have these public hearings. I'm very sorry, but that's just sometimes the way. I don't know if we're at the mercy of the mail or something failed at our end.
Conversation tonight too, Brown.
Excuse me?
Do we need a motion for that, or is it just?
Just table it?
No, we need to reschedule it.
Make a motion to reschedule.
What's the first date in August? Let's see, and then the next one would be the 15th. I'd like to reschedule it for August 15th.
So do we need to reschedule for both of them?
Yes, because I don't have any proof that the other owner received or did not receive his letter either. So I
Sounds like
don't
the most
know the
prudent
status
approach.
of it. I gotta find out. If they would've came back unsigned, it's posting it on the structure and then you're good to go, but we never received anything, so we have to reschedule.
Okay, let's reschedule.
And then we'll have to change the ordinance numbers and the dates, but that's okay.
Okay.
We've got good staff to take care of that for us.
Then we move on to resolutions. You're up again.
No.
Do we need to make a motion?
Do we need a
No,
motion
no,
on
those
that?
are part of the.
Stacy said we don't need a motion
Okay.
to reschedule. So the resolutions will follow that. So those will be moved on to August 15th meeting.
Yep.
So now we're to ordinances.
No, that was just one, that was just the public hearing on these two.
Right, but that's
That-
the first one and the other one's the second.
Okay, so we're all, so 1, 2, 3, 4 of them we're changing.
Right.
The two
Just
public hearings and
public
the two resolutions.
Okay, it's all going to move to the 15th.
Yeah, so now it is up to the ordinances.
Okay, ordinances, 218-3139, public vending.
Both of these next two ordinances I wanted to bring before you because I feel like they need to start being enforced. That's my fault for not taking the lead on this the last many years. I don't remember if the person before me even did it. Everything was just kind of allowed with the public vendors. We don't have a lot of problem with them. On the other hand, they're not a brick and mortar building. They can pull in, make money off of the city and just pull out and not really have any proof that they're paying sales tax or anything. And so we worked through this, city manager and the city attorney. And there's a few things we added. We did want to put in a commercially zoned area so people can't pull into residential areas, because I have seen that over the years. And 11503, we would change the fine to $250 rather than $25. Everything else is pretty standard. We did want to remove fireworks because they do require a license and they have to pay a separate fee for that. Number 16, that's the one we felt like we didn't want people just to pull in to a sporting event if we already have something, not just sporting, but anything, say the plaza. you have someone raising money at the concessions and you don't really want a food vendor pulling in unannounced or uninvited. And number 19, we added so that we could make sure that Lois Larivold with her Huck truck could park at her property that she does own. So this won't affect her. She can continue to do it.
And if we had other businesses that established that's taking away from more of the transient business. It's
Yes.
a mobile business, but it's not.
Right, because
secure.
she's paying property tax here on that property, so.
That makes sense.
On that
If you
building.
have an
Yes, in commercial
if you have an
zone.
existing business that goes out on this, has a business downtown and goes out on the street and opens up a truck parked incorrectly, sticking out in traffic, signs all over and stuff, is that permissible, or can they do that? It's in front of their store, and then it was out on the highway too. Is that permissible?
They would need to get a permit to put the truck out there. To do the mobile part of their business, they would need to get a permit.
If it's out in front of their store too? Yeah, that's what I thought. Okay.
One question, I understand, vendors coming like to the plaza, because that's a city event, that's okay. So and people are invited, vendors are invited. But what happens if vendors that weren't invited show up? I mean, because we're saying vendors can come to open to city functions and they don't need a license. Well, how's that stop vendors that are not invited to come in?
I think, if I understand correctly, let's say at the plaza, for example, we invited in vendors, they would still pay, just not in the concession stand itself. But
So if we do a food truck vendor, they pay the city like $50 to $60 they have to pay.
Okay,
And then if they are just a vendor within the walls, it's not a truck, then it's $5 to $10. But it's on an invited basis. You have to register with us. We've had it where someone shows up with a pickup truck full of sweet corn.
right.
There wasn't much we could do to stop them. We wouldn't let them in the gates. So this would help.
Okay, so this actually is a permit even for public, because they have to pay so much to be invited and pay to be a part of it.
Well, what we're trying to address here is the public vending that occurs on public property or uninvited on private property.
Yeah.
Okay.
And
okay.
what Ashley's talking about too is that's kind of a different fee that the city does charge for. As far as what she's saying about the corn, there is a thing in here that does say that that's allowed, farmer's market type of thing.
Right, okay.
Farmers market's what?
It is allowed.
In City Park, it's allowed.
Okay. And then Fall Fest, do people have to get permits for Fall Fest to have a booth?
They pay for their booths through Fall Fest.
Okay, yeah, that's right, I'm sorry.
Not this vendor.
Okay.
Right.
Okay.
And 11507, number 7, I took that out because according to the county clerk, they don't have any such thing. So basically what we did then was, instead of saying that there's no license tax imposed, and I believe that's one of the reasons it dropped by the wayside, was because there was no charge, and there is some work to, doing this. We're just moving it to $25 a day, up to 4 hours, and $50 if they want to go, pretty much the whole day. Wasn't there a place that said how many days?
Yeah, same section of no more than 4 licenses.
Oh, yeah, there we go.
Valid for 4 days each.
So a lot of it is the same as what's been there, just some of this will help enforce it a little bit better. We know we have one that comes in kind of on a regular basis, and we'll contact them and let them know about this.
So with a business that would come in on a fairly regular basis, would this hinder their ability to do so? If they're only able to have 4 licenses per year and a license is only good for 4 things?
And I guess that's up, I don't know how often they do come. I guess it's up to the commission if you wish to have someone come more often than that.
Our rationale behind that is that would be outside the special events that they could come to the plaza. That would be outside Fall Fest. That would be outside Farmers Market. And so if they're planning to attend all of those type of events, plus do 4 days, 4 times a year, which is an additional $16. We would really like to encourage them to join our community permanently and go ahead and purchase a building or rent a building here in town for the business.
And I certainly want to extend that invitation. But if they would choose to decline that invitation, I would still rather have their sales tax dollars in their fee application, even if they're here more often than that. I mean, I'm only thinking of one business that I see open on a fairly regular basis in a very consistent location that I think is a fairly staple member of our community, even though it's a mobile food vending location.
We'll contact them and find out, just to make sure, because that 4 days, 4 times a year was an existing piece of the ordinance that we did not change.
And I see that that's not the red line.
And places like, people like that will need to come in and show proof that they are allowed there, which obviously I'm sure they are after all these years. But
And I think it's important to have some control over it, or you can end up having a whole row of,
right, and there's not really a problem with it now, but there might be someday. So.
Yeah, but we always have the choice of saying, no, you can't get a permit. So I mean, that's our control.
I would almost like to see it struck that they can't be issued more than 4 licenses per calendar year, because that limits our ability. We can, as Sam said, we can say no without, I guess I would defer to my attorney in this regard, but can we say no without, can we just say no to say no? Do we need justification to say no?
No, we don't necessarily need justification to say no. Never hurts to have some type of a reasoning, some rhyme or reason that's going to be applied equally to everyone.
Yeah, that was my thought. Was
And that
if we
makes
do
it
that,
awful
we
hard.
need to do that with everyone.
We can say you've been here too long.
well, it makes it
Too many
awful hard to
times.
say no to somebody without giving them a valid reason.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I still hate to limit, I agree with Chuck on this, I hate to limit people coming in. that would
If they're
spend
doing
money.
square business and they're paying their license fees and they're showing us they're doing sales tax dollars, I don't see a reason why we couldn't support that. If it's something out of the norm or out of the ordinary they're not following, and then we can.
You can
Pull it
put in
back.
there that we could extend it based on, more extensive evaluation or whatever. I mean, if they were bringing in a lot of sales dollars or sales tax dollars and something, I wouldn't want to limit them. But if they're occupying space and it doesn't look good and it's not bringing in that many sales dollars, then what's the sense?
So Mark, you propose to add a line that gives us the discretion administratively to extend that license.
To consider an
To
extension
consider extension.
based on, criteria. I mean, we could talk
Would that be the
about
preferred verbiage? Then to
Yeah.
keep the limit in place, but have a.
But then this extended license may be considered
Yeah.
based on, and we need to think about
Yeah,
what that would
yeah.
say.
Yeah.
I think that's fair.
That makes sense.
I want to have the safeguards in place. I just want the money to get money.
That's right.
That's right.
That's right.
So do you want to table this one and then we'll bring you back some revised language related to the extension of the permit?
My thought would I think that we could come up with some language. I trust the language that you would establish with these parameters. I think we can move on, but we can table it for the next meeting too.
See if we can-
I'm okay if you want to pass it and trust us to put the language in.
I trust you to put the language in there. I just think basically
It's
it's
a test, by the way.
possible extensions.
We can always change the
Extensions
ordinance.
will be considered.
So I would move to approve ordinance 2018-3139 with the modification as discussed.
I have a motion from Chuck. Do I have a second?
Second.
Keaton seconds. Any further discussion? I hope we like the amendment.
No, we're in trouble. We failed the test.
No, we can always change it. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Moves on.
So in the
To-
solicitor licensing, sorry,
Yes.
we wanted to be a little more forceful with this maybe. Again, that's not been enforced for many years. And only recently I've gotten a few complaints about it. I think some other people have too. And so I did go out to some other cities and found what they put. And at one point, every city must have gotten a stock ordinance because almost everyone's reads the same way. but for some reason, a lot of things were left out of ours originally. I think one of the main things I really wanted to get in there, number 9, Kansas sales tax number. We didn't have anything about that, so we have no idea if they were coming in and doing anything with business in the state at all. On 11605, we changed the investigative fee from $5 to $50, and obviously until that's approved from the KBI, I believe it is, then they can't come in and do business, so they need to work ahead with me. Then on 11609 renewal, we're going to limit how often they can do this as well. Most cities have a 1-year license, and we're not going to do anything like that. And make sure and limit so people can't keep coming back, month after month or whatever. 11612 up to 11615 is all new, and these are things that I saw in most of the other ordinances that I asked for from the other cities. And I like 11615. We definitely don't want anyone aggressive, and that's what we've kind of been hearing about. We certainly don't want someone coming late hours, and where they're operating makes a difference too. So we proposed to change the fee from, I believe it was $5 before. I don't have that here, but anyway, to $200 a day. And
Per day was
$750.
Per year was 40.
Right, and there again, wasn't worth the effort to do anything with it. If someone really does want to come in, then we'll need to collect these kind of fees from them.
Limiting them to 10 calendar days in a year, 10 days in a calendar year.
Yeah.
And then they have to renew, and the purpose for that is a lot can happen in a year, and we wanted them to go through the whole application process again, background check everything next year.
Stacy, you said this ordinance will still allow for local organizations. I scanned through it and it didn't jump out at me, but where do we make sure that scouts and other tiny panhandlers still do their business? Full pressure. It's much more aggressive sales than.
Yeah, Girl Scout cookies.
I'd like to blame it on the aggressive sales.
I'm sure it's here. Oh, is it in the definitions?
I didn't see it immediately.
No. I'm just positive it's here. Well.
When we were going through this and talking about it, I think I had thrown out there the possibility, what about a lemonade stand or something? We all kind of came to the conclusion of, we would hope that there would be, this is one of those that has to be one of these situations where you have to report it. Obviously, we're not going to go patrol for people canvassing or selling door to door. And so it wasn't necessarily meant to regulate the board
Sure.
kids. Girl Scout cookies or, whatever it may be. I seriously doubt we'd get a report of that.
I don't know, we see it in the news where
I was just
where
gonna say, I
lemonade
actually
stands,
saw
they've
the
got
video
the police
for
called on them, yeah.
a lemonade stand,
Yeah.
We could easily insert into the definitions the exception of,
Businesses run by minors, because that kind of sounds.
Yeah, that sounds good.
Exempting businesses run by minors.
Minors?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
But people are strange, and it's good to have something in there, because I can see that it's happened.
I would want there to be some kind of protection stated. It's not a.
Okay, can I ask you a question?
Sure.
A legal question then. So as I read this, the fees per day would be $200. Now, I've been approached by people selling books and encyclopedias, and they bring a truckload of people to town, and they Okay, so does each one of those people have to pay $200?
Yes.
Yes, and
Okay.
And that
because
says
I
that.
think that's kind of why we're starting to.
Okay.
Because a lot of the times those are quote unquote aggressive sellers.
Mhm.
Those are the people that are putting people kind of in fear. because
Right.
they are very
So
aggressive.
the Kirby salesman,
Girl Scouts.
same thing?
I
But
searched
there
for it.
again, if I don't complain, if somebody doesn't complain about it, then.
Scouts.
It also kind of keeps, in my opinion, these things keep our folks safe from some of those, most of your door-to-door salesmen, when it comes to that stuff, they are essentially like a third party.
Mhm.
So the guy coming to the door wanting to sell you your security system or your dish network, they're not actually a salesman, they're a third party, they're getting some type of commission
Mhm.
or whatever, and so you see so many scams and stuff nowadays as well.
Right.
You can regulate those folks.
I think the purpose of this is great. I think it's going to give a good ability to say, yeah, have you done this? No, then we're going to need you to leave. I think the intent of this is really, appropriate. It's beneficial. Just want to make sure that language is to where somebody can't then make a stink about this.
So you want us to include some language about how the lemonade stand type or the Girl Scout cookie sales or Boy Scout popcorn type door-to-door sales would be permitted?
And I would think it'd need to be some kind of language that doesn't necessarily indicate that it's a business, because then it would tap into other sorts of things. But
A lot of cities have that those people need to be local. I don't know.
So yeah, most of your stuff's gonna be local with your Girl Scouts, so as long as it's a local, all the other guys are coming in from out of town somewhere, so.
Yeah,
Precisely.
local nonprofits you covered. On that, and I didn't, and maybe it's there, and I just didn't read it. So will they be given, once they pay this fee, will they be given a card?
Photo
mean-
ID.
Some sort of a
Some
badge or
identification.
something they have to carry with them. They don't have to necessarily show it like in their car, but if they are asked, they have to be able to
So that'd
provide
be
that.
something we'd want to get out to the citizens once this is passed, that, ask to see it. If you don't see it, then you really just report them and say no.
Right.
Okay.
anyone receiving direct comments?
So again, if you want us to insert language and trust us, we could do that, or bring that back again.
I would move to approve ordinance 2018-3140 with the inserted language.
Second.
I have a motion from Keaton, a second from Chuck. Any further discussion?
With the language inserted, you guys insert, is that what it is? Okay, I would second.
No, you can't. We already have a second.
Oh, okay.
But you can vote
That
for
was
it.
further discussion.
Oh, okay.
It's going to let your support though.
I got a comment. We were discussing actually, what about the Schwann's delivery unit?
Well, does he sell it right there on the spot?
Yeah.
Because I believe this covers anyone who takes orders.
He's got it on spot to sell it, he doesn't fix it, he does it over online, so
Yeah.
by hearing, I think it falls under that definition.
They would just have to get a thing.
So by passing this thing, we'll be able to come down to those.
Good
There might be some
grief.
people that'd be appreciative of that.
Yeah.
But doesn't say anything for the Schwann's guy?
Well,
It's
according-
okay, Schwann's can go ahead and
Let's-
come.
I would say let's go with
Everybody
that
wants to
for a
see
vote.
him.
We'll deny it, and then let them come back with language that addresses the Schwann's end of it, and then we can bring it back.
Does he actually knock on doors and cold call, or does he come?
Sometimes.
Sometimes
Okay, I
Combination
didn't
of
know
both.
about that.
I think,
A lot of the times he returns back to where he is sold.
The initial sale.
However, like they stated, he does technically, it depends on, a lot of times the way we look at this is okay, more times than not, does he have it with him?
because it's already been.
More times than not, he has it with him, then we can say, okay, then technically, he has it more times than not necessarily, but probably would want some language somehow to define that, because the only time he'll take an order is if he doesn't have it physically right there in the truck. A little bit different than the guy who's like, hey, I'll come back with shingles.
Not
So
much.
My suggestion at this point, then, with the language being modified such for the youth, I think that we're fairly comfortable. I'm fairly comfortable with you all adding that. I think with adding in language that would address legitimate or I don't necessarily want to add a judgment call to it, but that maybe it'd be prudent to, since there's already a motion, there's a second, we can take a vote, see where that goes, and then if we need to readdress the language and come back, I think that would be a prudent
Because
approach.
technically, right now, what we're voting on, that swine or whatever they are, fits in this definition.
It does.
Right.
Yes. The argument is much more stronger that they fit
Right.
into it as opposed to them not.
Yep.
And with the degree of the language needing to be broadened to that degree, it'd probably be prudent. So,
There's plenty of other communities that have Schwann's delivery guys that drive into them. We can ask them
Yeah.
How they do
Okay.
it. But right now, technically, they fit in this definition. Okay, no further discussion? All in favor, say aye. What?
I'll oppose.
All opposed?
Aye.
So we'll readdress this. I think we certainly approve.
I think this needs to be brought back for further discussion,
Just clarify the finer
because I
details.
think you're on the right track.
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah,
glad
it's
you
a
brought it
Never
great,
thought about. Make sure in email if you think something else.
it's a great, it's a great
All right,
ordinance.
Thank you.
I mean, because you think, I mean, your Snap-on, your Mac, all them guys will fall into that category as well. A lot of times they don't have all that on theirs, like your Snap-on, your Mac.
Oh, that's another good example.
Don't they just go to your business?
Well, that's still door to
Still a
door.
door-to-door, though.
That's considered a wholesaler, so it's fine.
Yeah.
Is that, okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, they
Well,
would
then could
fit,
Schwann's be considered a wholesaler?
not when they're
No.
going to people's door.
Okay.
Actually, a lot of them fit your third person definition.
Yeah.
They really do.
Okay.
All right. 2018-3142 Uniform Public Offense Code.
41.
It's actually 41 and 42.
Oh, 41 and 42?
You guys,
No.
what is going on?
Is it a full moon?
You gotta be close. I think it was a new moon not too long ago.
Okay, so it'll be 40 and 41 then. We'll do 40 as the traffic, well,
Wax and press.
how do you want to do it? Works best for you. Keep as 41 and we'll make the public offense code 40? Okay. Okay, for the record, the first one I'll be presenting to you guys is the Uniform Public Offense Code, which is going to be 2018-3140, which was initially our solicitors, but that was voted down, so we're going to move that into that. So then what we'll go to, and I'm going to kind of explain these both, and if you guys have questions, that's fine. So the next one is 18-3141. These ordinances essentially replace, every year, the Kansas League of Municipalities puts out these nice little quick reference manuals, which are our standard offense codes and our standard traffic ordinances for Kansas. What we have the ability to do is, in some occasions, to amend parts of those as they work for us, or to simply not have it in ours. So you'll see on the offense code, which is going to be the first one, that there's nothing that we've taken out of it. It's just standard stuff. The nice thing about these is it comes every year. So if you look at the ordinance, essentially what we do is we repeal last year's so we can use this year's. The very back of the book states anything that has changed in the public offense code, and it would be nothing of any true importance that you guys would need to know about, stuff I have to be aware of. The big one is the illegal operation of an amusement ride. That has changed with the regulations of all of that stuff that came about with the tragedy at Schlitterbahn. So in regard to the offense code, I don't know if you guys want to do these separately or one right after the other, because I can address the traffic code as well.
We can do them both.
You're doing both? Okay. So with the public offense code, we're good. On the standard traffic ordinances, there are a few things you'll see in there that we have taken out. Generally what those are, not generally, what those are is in the traffic ordinances, there's a lot of places in there such as the marking of a crosswalk or determining where a crosswalk needs to be, for example, that is left up to the responsibility of the police chief. We have historically taken that out because that responsibility lies with Ron, I believe. Is that you? The city engineer. So that is the standard stuff that has been in there for years. Nothing was changed. We're just readopting that. And then you'll look at the back here with any of the changes that they may have, and it is nothing, it has to do with littering out of a motor vehicle, horns and warning devices and things like that. So nothing substantial that would change in any way, shape, or form the way that we operate within the city. So I would ask that the council adopt both resolutions, or both ordinances, 3140 and 3141, so that I can start enforcing these laws.
I'll make a motion to approve ordinance 2018-3140 and 2018-3141.
I have a motion from Mark. Do I have a second?
Second.
Keaton, seconds. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Manager's report.
Just wanted to invite you all on Thursday, July 26th at 10 a.m. The Cloud County Community College is going to be having their groundbreaking for their solar farm. So if you can meet in parking lot 4, which is adjacent to College Drive, at 9:45 a.m., they'll take you to a shuttle up to the groundbreaking. So definitely join us. Pretty exciting. They've done a lot with the wind energy technology program and adding different programs that are related to that throughout the course since 2010 when the first inception happened. And so this is just another exciting way for renewable energy to hit Cloud County. So I encourage you all to attend.
What day is that?
Thursday, July 26th at 10 a.m. You'll want to be in parking lot 4 shortly before 9:45 to make sure you catch your shuttle ride. And I wouldn't recommend not wearing high heels that day or those shoes. Just saying.
Appreciate the recommendation.
Yeah.
Commissioner's report. Mark.
I don't have anything.
Sir?
Nothing.
Chuck's nothing? Keaton?
Nothing.
Christie? And me neither. Staff comments? Good. Now we move into a study session.
So we'll take about a short 10-minute break if we could. Get reset to the back of the room for our study sessions. We've got one on asphalt machine, and then we'll move into the study session.
All right.
I move to adjourn the meeting.
Second?
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye.